All right, let's get started. Hello, everybody. Today is Monday, March 4th, 2024. Will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay. Again, I'd like to call to order today's Sanitary District Meeting, March 4th, 2024. Roll call.
Commissioner William Allen,
Present.
Commissioner Ola Morris, Commissioner Maurice Mabon,
Present.
Commissioner Darnell Lyles, Commissioner William Cook,
Present.
Attorney Jewel Harris Jr., Executive Director Rhonda Anderson, Finance Manager Jerome Foster. And that's the end of roll call.
We have a quorum. It's a certification pursuant to Indiana law, section 5-14-1.5-6.1. I certify that prior to the start of today's meeting, there was an executive session held, and there was nothing discussed in the session that was not indicated on the public notice. And being in compliance with Indiana statutes, there were no final votes held during the session. Does any member dissent? Hearing none, moving on to minutes. What is the pleasure of the minutes?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that this board accept the regular meeting minutes of February 21st, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and second. Roll call.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Mabon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. Moving on to new business, we have 2.1 from Mr. Foster.
Thank you. Make a motion to approve and ratify a GSD payroll earnings for period ending January 29th, 2024 through February 11th, 2024 in the amount of $253,201.98.
Any comments or questions? What is the pleasure of 2.1?
So move for passage, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call.
Commissioner Cook, Commissioner Lyles, Commissioner Mabon,
Yeah.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5-0, motion passes for 2.1. Moving on to 2.2.
Provide that they appoint the head of the law and that we have proposed 36-4-9-11 and 12, and that the area of this proposal will provide that the corporation council, the Department of Law shall manage the legal affairs of the city, shall appoint such assistants as are necessary to conduct the legal affairs of the city. Whereas acts, the continuing and Hauser LLC and Adam K. Mills represent on this, the Department of Law is necessary to engage staff with union and Hauser LLC provides and assist here sanitary district and law department regarding affairs with their sanitary district and other tasks. And the scope of work is included in the board packet and rest of it, I'm not going to do all part of the recommendation.
Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments?
Oh, yes, we do. The list of I don't know if these are a list of attorneys, but are they attorneys or are they, I mean, some of the positions, are they all attorneys? Stan? Okay. Okay. And, Earl, how far does this extend into the city as far as the consent decree? Is the city, it's just GSD? Okay. Yeah, it does. Okay. Oh, okay, it is a part. Okay.
Any other comments, questions?
I just have one other comment. Just for background purposes, this is recommended by our corporation counsel, and I agree. Taft Law has a significant amount of environmental law experience, and they do some work for the airport as well. So this is a good recommendation. We would just ask that they submit a revised table so that there's positions associated with position titles associated with all the names that's included in the agreement. Is that what the board is requesting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I think that's all that they're looking for is so that they know what rates are being charged by what level staff. That's all.
So we're gonna pass it subject to getting that, is that right?
If that's your motion.
Is that a motion? If that was a motion, is there a second?
Well, you can make the motion.
Would like to make a motion.
I move for passage subject to the stated additions to the contract with regard to, is it a law clerk, secretary, paralegal, partner, whatever, as it relates to the fees enumerated in the contract.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call?
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yeah.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. Moving on to 2.3.
Grants buildings request a modified arrangement, dog three, right now, available. Let me state that. If one of the two remaining fails, then we only have one, and that will cause us a problem during an event. So we'd like to have all three pumps in operating order at all times. And so, this is to make sure that we have that third pump available, and we're recommending.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
My comment is, I don't know what kind of system they have, but the total number is 42,615, but if you look at each number, they look like millions, 30 million.
This is period. Right there.
Small.
With too many zeros to follow it, that's the problem.
Yeah, you saw all the zeros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's on the next page.
Comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, what is the pleasure of the board?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
We'll second that.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call?
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles, Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes for 2.3. Next, we have 2.4.
requested quote for an emergency sewer replacement near 1356 Mount Street. There are several surface pavement with sewer collapses in two sewer segments located in the alley between Mount and Durgan Street near 13th Avenue. The existing sewer segments lost structural integrity, allowing sand and groundwater infiltration. During the investigation, one of GSD CCTV cameras became lodged in the sewer and was unable to be retrieved. Immediate repairs are necessary to prevent imminent sanitary sewer overflows and to retrieve GSD CCTV camera. The engineering department prepared specification and solicited sealed bids from 12 contractors. Area plumbing, LBS plumbing, Mets, Grimmer, Gary, Agnes, AJ. Hours. And they see that, LGS fund was a low bid at $87. There was also a bid from, Matt Sewer at $102,400 and Gary Up Construction at $127,500. And if there are any questions regarding this, I would like for the total cost of cut to,
Any comments or questions on the recommendation for the repair with LGS Plumbing? Okay, hearing none. What is the pleasure of the board?
I second that, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call?
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles, Commissioner Maybon, Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes for 2.4. Next, we have claims. 3.1, Mr. Foster.
Thank you. I make a motion to recommend and ratify GSD claims numbers 619 through 828 in amount of $1,346,028.34.
Do we have any comments or questions? Hearing none, what is the pleasure of the board? Is there a second?
We'll second that.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call?
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yeah.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yeah.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. Next, we have information updates, plan activities. Ms. Rhonda Anderson?
For, HMI project we completed is a training for the institute and IT team on maintenance of that system, and that starts today. The semi-annual consent decree progress report that was due on the first is submitted, on time. OSHA forms 300, 300A, and 301 were submitted also on March first day. They used to only require, well, they used to require just that we post form 300, and now they came up with a new requirement that we submit 300, 300A, and 301, and so we did. And I'd like to note that the Superfund Amendments and Reauthorization Act of 1986, Title III, also known as SARA, Tier 2 report was also submitted on the March first due date. It's also known as the Emergency Planning and Community Right to Know Act, and it addresses the need for publicly available hazardous information. And the purpose of this report is to provide the state and local officials and the public with information on the general hazard types and locations of hazardous chemicals present in our facility during the previous calendar year, so that responsible agencies can update their emergency preparedness and response. So this report includes a map of our plant where this chemical is located, the average quantity on hand, and it was also submitted. So that's all I have, and I'll be happy to answer.
Do we have any comments or questions for Ms. Anderson? All right, thank you. Next, we have construction activities. Mr. Eric Tonk.
Good morning, Board. I'm going to provide a
Morning.
quick update on construction projects. The first one being the grid improvements project. Just waiting to hear back from the Army Corps of Engineer on the certificate of final completion. Last I heard, there were some 4 minor punch list items that had to get, the AOC hasn't received yet. So just waiting for that final completion documents. The 27th Chase Street force main replacement project. This is phase 2. We're still waiting on those extra parts for the force main. So that, again, the construction is still scheduled to begin in April. For the 27th Chase Street pump station bar screen, the bar screens are still scheduled to be delivered by the end of March. We're trying to get a meeting together because this is outside the contract schedule. So we're trying to find ways to motivate the contractor to get the project wrapped up in a more timely fashion. And the last project I have is for the Lake Street drainage improvements. Currently, Grimmer Construction is working between Cypress and Hemlock. They're installing the new storm tech chambers in that area. Once weather gets a little better, then we go back between 3rd Avenue and Hemlock. I said that wrong. They're in between Cypress and and Hemlock. That's where the storm tech chambers going in. They want to go back between 3rd Avenue and Birch, finish up the hardscape in that area, the concrete work and landscaping areas in that area. So the work is proceeding on that project. And that's all I have.
Any comments or questions? Thank you. Next, we have American Structure Point.
Good afternoon, Board. John Tucker, Structure Point. I don't have any other further updates on our sanitary project. Excuse me, either 27th and Chase is our force main, so we're waiting to pipe as Mr. Tonk mentioned, but if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions? Any comments? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
And then now we have CDM Smith.
Good afternoon, Board. A few updates for you. Working with staff and with legal on the long-term control plan update to meet the April 25th deadline. Working on modeling for that plan, putting that together. As Mr. Tonk said, we're working to try to motivate the contractor at 27th and Chase for the bar screens, so that we're getting very little in response from them, and so I'm looking to set a meeting with staff here and with legal to address that with the contractor, with FH Passion. And lastly, working with staff here to assist with submitting to the IFA for funding for projects for later this year by the April 1st deadline. And happy to answer whatever questions you might have.
I just had a question. I thought we had made some sort of agreement with Passion and that they were going to proceed with the work.
We did make that agreement, and they owe us a handful of submittals, like their schedule and their schedule of values, and those have not been submitted to us. They've submitted a few other things, but the actual construction schedule has not been submitted to us. The last thing that they told us is that the bar screens themselves were being manufactured, but
It's been like 2 years now.
it's been about a year. Yeah, it's been about a year.
So what can we do?
I'm going to work with him on that. If you can stay after the meeting, we'll
Absolutely.
catch up.
Absolutely.
Any other comments, questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next brings us to discussion. Are there any items that any of the members would like to discuss?
Yeah, I did have a question. I think we're going into March now, and the mayor's been in office for almost 2 months. When are we going to do a newsletter introducing our mayor to our 25,000 member public? Is there anybody are we going to do a newsletter?
Okay. All right, so it'll be discussed then. Any other items or topics from any other members? No? Okay, next we have request to speak.
There are none.
Okay, well, then moving on to adjournment then. Anybody like to make a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Second? All right, motion passes, meeting adjourned.
Speak to Coke.
You said what? Go after the meeting.
No. He said, let's get ready to say.
All right, everybody, let's get started. Like to call to order the Stormwater Management District meeting, March 4th, 2024. Roll call. Present.
Present.
Present. Present.
Present?
Present.
All right, we have a quorum. No certification since there were no items discussed that were related to stormwater during our executive session. So moving on to minutes, what is the pleasure of the board? Or the minutes, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that the board accept the executive session and regular meeting minutes of February 21st, 2024.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call.
Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Lyles,
Yes.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris, Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 ayes, 0 noes. Motion passes. Moving on to new business, we have 2.1. Mr. Foster.
Thank you. I recommend a motion to approve and ratify GSWMD payroll earnings for period ending January 29th, 2024 through February 11th, 2024, in the amount of $5,259.
Do we have any comments or questions on 2.1 for the payroll? Hearing none, what is the pleasure of the board?
Move for that.
Second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call.
Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Lyles,
Yes.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris, Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 ayes, 0 noes. Motion passes for 2.1. Moving on to 2.2.
Scope of work is included in the board package. Start cleaning, will, is there any questions that?
Do any directors have any comments or questions?
think we did, because it seemed like they had a balance that they mentioned in their bid.
Yes, yes, we have. And Aline Driscoll was here at the last board meeting and presented to the board. Yeah,
Thank
okay,
you. Like
I do.
that?
Yeah, they listen to what I say.
Any other comments or questions?
The woman's.
Hearing none, roll call. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did we already?
No, yeah, we didn't. What's the pleasure of the board?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call.
Director Cook, Director Lyles,
Yeah.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris, Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 ayes, 0 no. For 2.2. Moving on to claims. Mr. Foster?
Thank you. Make a motion to approve and ratify GSWMD claim numbers 21 through 26 in the amount of $6,044.67.
Any comments or questions on claims? Hearing none, what is the pleasure of the board? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call?
Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Lyles,
Yeah.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris, Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
5 ayes, 0 no. Passes for claims. Next, we have information updates. Director Brenda Scott Henry.
While Brenda's making her way up to the podium, I want to congratulate her for her Enhance Our Environment Award that she was given as a tribute to Black excellence in public service. Thank you.
Did
Thank you, Director.
Oh, that's Brenda.
Okay, thank you very much. It was quite an honor to be recognized by the Alpha Kappa Alpha sororities at their regional central conference that was held in Chicago. You might have seen some information about it in the news over the weekend, but they had about 4,000 people, women who were with a mission to soar to excellence. And we were recognized Friday night. It was an honor to be on the dais with such dignitaries and even Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jesse Jackson was there in attendance. So, and I don't know how many of you know the new Rainbow Push president, which is Frederick Haynes, who was there as a guest speaker for the event. So it was a big deal. I was going just to I thought I was just going to get a dinner award ceremony, but it was a big deal. So I was glad to be a part of that. And I thank the AKAs for their recognition of the work. They are definitely one of our partners when we do our Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day. They've been working with us for the past 7 years, and their chapter is the one that made the nomination for me. So I appreciate them. I only have a few items that I want to bring to your attention today. The contractors training for stormwater permitting is occurring this Friday, March 8th, from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Dean and Barbara White Center in Maryville. We already have over 270 people registered for that event. I will be on one of the panels where we are talking about the challenges of contractors complying with their SWIP. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to try. I asked the panel, and this is cities, LaPorte, LaPorte County, Porter County, Lake County. I'm asked them not to be so confrontational with the contractors, but just point out some things that we see and that we're trying to bring into compliance. So I'm glad to hear that there are other communities just as frustrated with these contractors not meeting their requirements while they're doing construction activities, and meaning that they are bringing their pollutants off their debris, your soil debris, off the site into the streets, or they're impacting our storm drains, or, there's fugitive dust that's going on with them doing construction activities. And we're just simply, it's not complicated at all. It's just simply asking them to put in some practices while they're doing their construction activities. Do those things. Protect our storm drains, keep your pollution on site or your soil on site, and then keep your fugitive dust from blowing all around and impacting other people. So it's really simple to be a good neighbor while you're doing construction activities. So that's a 4.5 hour training. The training contributes. One of the things that IDEM has asked us to include in our permit and in the application process is that each contractor, everyone that is applying for a permit, that they have to have someone on their staff that is trained in stormwater pollution prevention. This training will count for that if the contractors attend. We put our outreach material out we work with our building commissioner. We have the information available in OpenGov. We have it as a flyer all over the place. Each one of the counties have been advertising for the event, so we're hopeful that we can, we have a good presentation for our contractors that are in the Northwest Indiana area. On March the 11th, we will host our MS14 coordination meeting at 1 p.m. Our priorities for those meetings is two. One, we're working on a stormwater ordinance. Two, we're working on the annual report. And Metrics Environmental is the contractor that we have secured to help us get those things accomplished. And so the final item I want to just share is that we've applied for the FEMA BRIC grant. This is for technical assistance. This not only supports the Stormwater Management District, but it also supports the work of the Sanitary District, where we're asking FEMA to help us to identify a pipeline of projects that will prepare us for climate resiliency. Now, that's the term that they're using because that's where the monies are right now in the federal government. It's the buzzword is climate resilience. So how do we do that? For us, it's installing more green infrastructure to manage stormwater. Number two, it helps to reduce CSOs. So it benefits both of the districts, but they will provide us a technical assistance in identifying projects that doesn't impact what the federal requirements are for, or the consent decree requirements are for GSD to do its part in terms of CSO reduction in the long-term control plan. So just want to point that out. That's all I have. If you have questions, I'll be happy to.
So the stormwater, it goes through our stormwater sewer. We treat it, and that water goes back to the lake, right? Now what happens in areas where there's septic tanks? For example, there's like about 1,000 people that are not online with us, and that septic water, a lot of times it'll sit.
Mm-hmm.
It don't necessarily go down
So-
a pipe because there's not a
Mhm.
storm sewer there.
So, okay, yes.
Sector, which is higher to, and we have a number of septic trucks that come in. Bob Theodora knows exactly how many, but they have certain requirements that they have through our IT department in order to be allowed to discharge into our.
For the septic service, right? So what's, the residents pay. So what's the difference between the cost of coming online with the Gary Sanitary District and the long-term cost of them paying the septic fee? Yeah, have we looked at that? The cost of these septic users coming online, becoming Gary GSD customers? I mean, is it cost effective for them not to be on septic?
So I would say that, you know, there have been efforts in the past for that GSD had in place to allow residents who could comply with the sewer ordinance to connect to the sewer line, but it's costly. So there may be some opportunity there to look at that, evaluate that, and I think that, you know, Director Anderson and her staff is kind of maybe looking at something like that. But just to point out, what we would be most interested in is failed septic systems, those individuals who are not being responsible and maintaining their septic system. Septic systems have a life cycle of only about 25 years. So, and if you're not maintaining that system, you probably can last longer than that if you're maintaining it properly. But those who abandon those systems, they are impacting water quality. And that is mostly handled by the state and the health department. So when you run into we do have complaints periodically about someone's failed septic systems that is impacting running off their site or something like that. So the runoff, it really impacts water quality when it rains, and that stormwater runs off the site, probably into drains and whatnot like that. But the state of Indiana, IDEM has a septic system coordination coordination group who's been working on septic system policies and practices for the last 10 years. And they have example ordinances and procedures that they will share with us to support them. And then they also have this program called Septic Smart Week, where they give each municipality some outreach material so that they can educate the public on maintaining their septic systems, things like that. But I'm pretty sure that what you're talking about is something that has been asked in the past, and it could be considered again.
Any other comments or questions from the directors? I got one. For the FEMA BRIC grant opportunity, how much money is up for grabs for?
For this one, we only asked for the technical assistance, so there's no cost price tag associated with it. It is a 36-month technical assistance that they will provide to the city. But we are hopeful that this technical assistance positions us to apply for the FEMA BRIC dollars, where they have.
And yeah, that's where I was getting at.
You
So
getting at
how
that
much is
big
available?
number? Well, I
Yeah,
think
for
we
us
need to
here.
look at somewhere between $300 and $400 million to help improve the infrastructure that we have.
Perfect.
And Jackson, Mississippi is an example of where FEMA dollars were used. This very program was used to help Jackson, Mississippi with their water quality challenges, where they received $600 million.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
Okay.
All right. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, we have American Structure Point.
Good afternoon, directors. John Tucker Structure Point, our current stormwater drainage project, Lake Street. As Mr. Tog mentioned, we're currently doing underground between Cypress and Hemlock. That'll still be proceeding probably for the next few weeks. 1st of April is on schedule for them to start some of the flat work, concrete, and get everything prepped to start moving forward with everything behind the current curbs that were installed in the fall. So everything still seems to be on pace to try to have this section of Lake Street done by Memorial Day, but I'll keep updating the board as we proceed forward. If there's any questions on Lake Street, I'd be happy to answer.
So I was in Lake Street the other day. So the part that's blocked off, is that where you're working at, where the streets are blocked? You can't get through on Lake.
You cannot at Cypress, no. They're putting in the drainage chambers, and that's the full width of the roadway. So as of right now, you can only go from Birch up to Cypress, and then take the detour to come around to Hemlock, and then access all the apartments and houses from the north heading back south. That is being maintained, and as they move, that access road moves along with them, so that access can be maintained from either the north or the south.
So it's a full street.
Yes.
Just doing what Jackson used to do.
Absolutely. Please, by all means, I'd be happy if you see anything.
Any other questions, comments? All right.
Good afternoon, directors. Chris Murphy with Structure Point. I want to give an update on the US 20 Complete Streets Phase 2 project. As you know, this is construction that's being funded through a grant from the Indiana Finance Authority, particular to stormwater improvements on state highways. Currently, we have documentation to the Indiana Finance Authority for their review of our match responsibilities, and also for their action on putting together the grant agreement between the Stormwater District and the IFA that will provide the construction funding. With regard to the project being ready for construction, we currently still have 4 parcels that are in condemnation. The court hearing for those 4 parcels, all 4 of them, is scheduled for Wednesday this week, at which time the judge will appoint appraisers to review the value provided to each of the 4 parcels, so that judgment can be provided after 30 days on a value that will allow the parcels to be acquired for use during construction. We've also given the utilities, primarily NIPSCO, notice to proceed on their relocation effort, and the utilities will be out there sometime this spring to work through their utility relocations, probably working side by side with the construction contractor. Any questions on the US 20 Complete Streets project?
For the grant, do we know if we pay for it 100%, then get reimbursed, or if the money is brought to us at the beginning of the project?
I do not know, but the details that they'll be specified in the grant agreement that Indiana Finance Authority is paying, but it will not be. We have already provided documentation that we have provided our local match requirements, funding complete, and it's already there. So either the funds will come in one check to the Stormwater District for distribution to the contractor as progress is made on the construction, or it'll be a reimbursement process by which every month after the contractor submits his invoice for work that month, we send a copy of the invoice down to IFA, and they will reimburse the district for the costs of that month.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have Robinson Engineering.
Good afternoon, Directors. Ron Smith with Robinson Engineering. Just a couple of updates. The Lake Street Bridge, number 243, that's being funded by Lake County, that is scheduled to start back up construction on 3/18. Mobilization, I do have an updated schedule that I can provide. Also, we are pushing the contractor so they can be completed by before July 4th. And also, we are coordinating with Grimmer, who is working on the Lake Street project. For the Sixth Place project, I have a meeting scheduled this Wednesday to go over that and some additional projects with the engineering department, Mr. Cola. So I'll be seeing him on Wednesday morning of this week. So that's all I have this afternoon, Directors, and I'll be more than happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Any directors have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and happy Engineers Day for all the engineers that are in the building, so. Naturally.
Moving on to discussion, is there any items or topics that any of the directors like to discuss at this time? Okay, hearing none. Are there any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Okay, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, meeting adjourned.